Hey y'all, welcome to Andros Plays Bluegrass. I had to move to a different part of my porch because the sun is setting right in my eyes. And I didn't want to bother you with that kind of lighting and me squinting at you all the time. Today we're going to be talking about the tune Cripple Creek, which we call a fiddle tune because every instrumental in Bluegrass is called a fiddle tune, but really it's a banjo tune. I'm going to cut away to me playing a few different versions of it, the same stuff that I used for the short. And when we cut back, we'll talk about the tune in a little bit more depth. See you then. So it's good for us as guitarists to learn how to play it as well. Make friends with some banjo players, be able to hang if somebody's at a jam and they call it, since it's a pretty common tune. One of the things that you'll notice about this though is that it has a shorter form than most of the fiddle tunes. How about we go over the chords and we'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. So in this tune, all we need is 3 chords, G, C, and D. Easy chords, you should probably already know them. I'll show them on the screen anyways. So in the A part, we've got a measure of G, a split measure C and G, another measure of G, split measure D, and G. So it's only 4 bars, and we play that twice. Let me play through it. I'll call out the chords on the screen, and you'll be able to hear what I'm talking about. Ready? That was already twice through the A part, right? It's a 4-bar phrase instead of 8 bars. So the B part is a lot like the A part, except we don't have that half bar of C in there. So let me play that for you so you can see how it sounds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty straightforward, right? So those are the chords for it. Since this tune is a shorter form than most fiddle tunes, that means that in any sort of jam situation where you're, sitting in a circle and taking turns playing the lead, playing the break over those chords, people are going to take their turns more quickly, which means that either the tune will be done faster, or that more often is the case, you're going to play more breaks than you normally would. So what that means for a tune like this is that it kind of gets a little bit further from the melody than most, which is fine, right? You notice in the versions that I played before, at the beginning of this video, by the end I was really just playing G licks with just little hints at the melody, maybe at the start of each A part and B part. What that means is that when you're playing over this tune, you're pretty free and flexible to do whatever you want. The 2 things that really lead to that are that short form, but also the fact that the melody is pretty much all chord tones. The only exception for that being, maybe the tag at the end, but everything else is, either the root, the third, or the fifth of whatever chord you're playing over in that core melody, which is actually pretty frequent, pretty commonly the case for banjo tunes, right? Which is why this is in the key of G, right? And why it's like the first tune that you learn on a banjo. If you don't know, banjo's tuned to an open G chord, so it's really easy to play notes that are in the G chord and throw them in amongst the other notes that you're playing. It's a little bit less easy on a guitar, but if you're kicking off the tune, just do it at a slightly slower tempo than the blazing fast banjo tempo and you'll be all right. So when I'm playing a break to this tune, really what I think about is just how close to the melody do I want to stick. Do I want to play really close to the melody? Do I want to play sort of 50-50? Or am I fine kind of going off and doing something pretty different? If I want to stay really close to the melody, then, well, let's just do it. I'll improv a little bit at a slow tempo. So I'm going to play the melody with maybe just a couple little changes, right? I don't know, right? So that was really close to the melody, played at a pretty slow tempo. I'm just throwing in a couple of things, right? If I have an idea, I try to make it exist on the guitar. Was that super exciting? No, not really, but that's the idea. If I want to be real close to the melody, I do that. If I want to be somewhere in the middle, then what I think is probably the best is to play maybe the first A part close to the melody like I just did, and then the second A part replace a couple bars with a lick, right? Maybe instead of having a 1 bar tag, you've got a 2 bar tag, or even a 3 or 4 bar tag, right? And do something similar with the B part. And then if you want to go pretty far out from the melody, I personally don't like playing a thing that's just entirely licks. I think that it kind of loses something. But if you at least play like the first bar of the first A part and the first bar of the first B part as close to the melody, then hopefully that's enough to, let you know that you were still playing Cripple Creek at least, right? Oh, I should talk about, scales that we're using for this. It's in the key of G, so if you want to use your G major pentatonic scale, if you want to use sort of the more bluesy, right, where you're throwing in the minor thirds and things like that, if you want to use the full G major scale, all of those are pretty valid options. It kind of just depends on how you're feeling, right? G major pentatonic, nice and safe. You can pretty much play any notes you want in that without having to worry too much about it. But it's maybe less exciting, which is fine, right? If you're new to it and you're just learning to improv, probably want to just stick to the pentatonic for a minute. If you want to spice things up, the easiest first place to start is with the flat third and the flat 5. Maybe you want to throw in some licks in G, which I could talk forever about different potential licks. But if you want to make some for yourself, take your sort of pentatonic shape and add a couple of key notes, and you can make some really cool licks. So really simple stuff. If we just kind of have this, so that's using the root, descending chromatically down to the dominant 7th, doing the same thing starting at the 5th, so 5th, flat 5th, 4th, minor 3rd, slide up to major 3rd, and then hit the 5th to resolve at the root. That's one that I kind of resort to all the time, but you can take those same notes and play them in different orders and come up with something, right? It doesn't take much to play a lick using those notes. If you're gonna get adventurous, find those same notes somewhere else on your fretboard and see what you can come up with there, right? So since this is G, the root, 5th, and 3rd are all right here, that triad. You've also got a G triad right here. So you can do a little lick that's something like that, right? Simple, and I'm using exactly the same concept as I used before. Definitely not an idea that I came up with. The ideas of triads and making little licks around them has been around forever. So mess around and see if you can come up with something cool. That's it for today. If you are learning this tune and you want to post a video of it, I would love to be tagged in it. I'd love to see what you guys are doing. As I say in all of these, I'm sure you can come up with something that's even better than what I did if you just spend some time at it. The whole goal of these videos is just to give you the tools that you need to be able to play these tunes, improvise over them, make your own arrangements, all of that. If you have any requests for tunes that you want to see me do and break down in this sort of way, let me know in the comments. As always, if you like the video, like it. If you want to see more, subscribe. Thank you very much.